Good afternoon. Today we are heading up Mosquito Pass. We are coming from the Alma side heading towards Leadville. And if you were thinking of doing the same, the first thing I would suggest is airing down your tires. There's quite a few little sharp, jagged rocks in there, and they'll definitely take some chunks out if you're not ready. We aired down to about 20 psi today. The first mile or so heading up the pass is actually pretty mellow. I would think that most kind of average vehicles can make this up there. Kind of lighter SUVs and stuff will have no issues kind of getting towards your first real obstacle. About a mile and a half, 2 miles in, you'll make a hard left turn, and you'll notice kind of your first obstacle, which is going to be this large rock garden. So this large rock garden is, pretty straightforward. There's a lot of large rocks and some big dips. I'd say over the last couple of years, there's been quite a lot of side-by-side activity on Mosquito Pass, and they've definitely churned it up. This is a relatively steep hill heading up towards this first mine coming from the Alma side, and unfortunately this trail has just been kind of torn up. I would suggest if you do not have a high clearance vehicle, probably not attempt this. Your next main challenge is going to be this longer climb towards the top of the pass coming from the Alma side. It's hard to see in the video. There are some kind of larger obstacles, some larger rocks and smaller boulders in there that you're going to have to work your way around. I would suggest not doing this solo unless you are an experienced off-roader 4x4. You'll definitely want, in some places, someone to be there spotting you and kind of helping you get over some of these obstacles with relative ease and not dealing with any pinching or pain points. Your descent from the top is going to be, more of the same that you've been dealing with and experiencing on the way up. I would say ideally do this in the middle of the week if you can. That way the traffic is light or minimal, because trying to deal with traffic on this way down is going to be a little spicy, especially for people who are a little bit more inexperienced. main obstacle that you're going to face coming from the Alma side, and I believe it's the same coming from the Leadville side, is going to be this second switchback on the backside or on the way up. I believe it's the same whichever direction you're coming from. There's a large boulder, and usually people kind of three-point turn, kind of hug this outside wall. Over the years, this has been eroded, and it's actually more like a pit now. So you're going to have a tough time. As you can see in the video, the truck's tripoding, and it is definitely helpful to have a spotter in this section here. Once you're done with the switchbacks, you're mostly done with the kind of challenges of this pass. On the way down towards the Leadville side, it is still very bumpy and very rocky. Just the whole area has been chewed up over the years. Overall, I think Mosquito Pass is a great moderate trail, and I will call it moderate, and I think everyone should consider it as a moderate trail. There are definitely some challenging obstacles on this pass that I don't think kind of beginner or new 4x4 enthusiasts or off-roaders will be necessarily equipped to handle. You have to be pretty deliberate with your line choices in some of these obstacles, especially those tighter switchbacks. For anyone curious, this is a relatively stock 2021 Ford Ranger FX4 off-road package. I've done zero suspension work. The only thing I do have is I have 32-inch tires on there and frame sliders welded to the frame. I also have an additional 500 pounds of camping / overlanding gear sitting over the rear axle, which definitely does not help in situations like this. So keep that in mind. This truck can do it relatively stock, and if you have something that's a little bit more equipped, you'll do this with no problem at all.